Folks, you'll be glad to hear I'm only going to speak for a couple of minutes. First off, could I thank the people for inviting me down here. Secondly, it is good to see a peaceful protest.
We're all peaceful.
Of course, I agree with you. Is that thing going?
Yeah.
We'll hear it.
The people who have been on condemning the people about what has taken place in this country need to get off their armchairs and come out and see exactly what is going on. After 30 years of being attacked continually by the IRA, by Martin McGuinness and that paedophile Jerry Adams, we will take no lessons on law and order from terrorists. We want peace, a genuine peace. We will not be dictated to by gunmen, mass murderers and paedophiles. Machine Gun Marty is right. But to say Marty was no threat even though he was carrying a machine gun. We have a photograph of Martin McGuinness firing a Luger pistol and they won't arrest him. But they're arresting young fellas because they're coming out to protest about their democratic right to live in peace, to live free from fear and intimidation. It has to stop. These continuous concessions to the IRA has to stop. 1.5 billion come into this country to help the economy of this country, to help youth people rebuild this country. And what did they do with it? They give it to the IRA to keep them content. They give them the Northern Bank. They give them the millions upon millions that has been stolen by smuggling through the border. Nobody's touching them because the police are not allowed. The police are not allowed to go in to the Republican areas to police because the IRA might end up turning their weapons on the police. I was going to say the RUC, but on the PSNI. Peter Robertson, you told the people if they voted for you that you would bring them peace and democracy. You brought them nothing but turmoil. The removal of the flag was the last straw. The last straw, not the first straw. You name parks after mass murderers. You continually attack everything that is British. That flag is flown in Afghan on the sides of mountains where our young men and women are going out to fight for freedom, for Peter. Peter. He can't get freedom from Irish, never mind anywhere else. Listen folks, on a serious side, I have never seen the people coming together as much as what I have seen around the country over this last number of weeks. It is not being reported, but I can tell you there's hundreds of meetings like this taking place where there's anywhere from 50 to 500 to 1,000 people turning out, but you aren't being told about it because they do not want to see you being united. We don't care what party or what organisation or what you're from. We want to see a genuine peace in this country. And we're saying to the police officers, do not start to beat us on the streets. Because we are the people who support law and order. We do not want to have to turn on law and order. But do not think you can come in and beat the Protestant people and get away with it. Because them days is over. We will not allow Sinn Féin IRA to butcher us for 40 years. We put them on their knees when we decided that we had had enough of it. We will put Peter and Martin and Jerry Adams and the British government on their knees if we have to. I agree with you. The peace process, we have to see the result of a peace process. The only thing I'll say here, people, we need to keep this peaceful. We need to keep it peaceful. Do not allow certain elements within the PSNI and within the government entice you into violence, because there is people within the PSNI who are setting their own colleagues up. How do they think they're finding the addresses of some of these officers? Over 30 police officers had to leave last year. They had to leave. They were asked to leave because they were found to be connected to the IRA. They're setting up their own colleagues. And they're wondering how they're finding out about where the police officers are living. I can tell you how they're finding out. And I would challenge Peter Robinson to call me a liar. Because if you do, Peter, I will give you the facts. I will give you the evidence. 30 police officers were asked to leave because they were connected to the Republican movement. That is only the ones you have found out about. That is who is setting up the police officers to be murdered. Not the Protestant people, not the ordinary Catholic people, but the IRA, who's been allowed to join the police force to keep the Sinn Féin on board, to keep them part of the peace process. In South Armagh, the policing board is made up of people like John George Hughes' wife. John George Hughes more than 30 police officers and soldiers. His wife is sitting on the policing board. You couldn't rate that. Talk about the Simpsons.
Hold that. Oh no.
It's just unbelievable.
Hold that. Did I get my umbrella? Just hold.
We're not talking about me.
It's recording. It's recording, so hold it on him.
I would
Just hold it
say,
there.
folks, keep up what you are doing. We are winning. But we will only win if we do it through peaceful means. Heaven forbid it comes to violence. Because we showed the provies. We sat back for years. And then the people decided they'd had enough and they took it to the IRA. And the IRA did run away. Because our down was empty. They wouldn't even stay in their own houses. They were that afraid of what was coming to them. Heaven forbid we ever have to go back to that. We do not want to go back to it. We do not want to have to bring police officers down the street in coffins because the IRA are back more than them. But we will not be threatened or intimidated by the Republican movement, the Irish government, the British government, the Chinese government, the USSR government. We don't give two stuff. We will not be intimidated or threatened by anybody. United we stand, divided we fall, and we are united.